In this episode, we're going to talk about the 2016 state of the election and the fight against ISIS.
It's looking to be an uplifting episode. Hello and welcome back to the Unnamed Political Podcast, episode number 38.
I believe so. 38.
All right.
It's a magic number.
We've made it to
This
that.
far.
Yeah.
What a milestone.
We're going to keep going. I'm your host, Clark Wahlberg.
And I'm Jack Horvath.
All right, let's just jump into it, I suppose.
I guess so. Let's go.
We want to keep these things briefer for you guys, but we got to really dive into this intensity. So, we are now only 6 days away from the 2016 presidential...
We're close.
Holy cow, that is hard to say.
Presidential
It feels weird. It's 6 days. I mean,
It almost
has been
seems
going on
since like late 2014.
Yeah.
When people were all like, "Oh, Chris Christie for president."
Yeah. Oh, good old days.
Yeah, good old days.
Back when Jeb was polling at above Hillary.
Yeah, you know, those are some good days. I remember those. Oh, all right, let's look that.
Yeah, I'm just, that's my reminiscing area.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the times have gone by, and it almost seems like just not metaphorically yesterday, we were talking about the primaries and the debates, which...
That was our first episode.
Yeah.
A year ago.
Oh.
A little more than a year ago now.
Yeah.
But still...
It's crazy,
the way things have changed. Because if you look at our first episode, we were like, oh yeah, so I think, Bernie, he has a real chance of beating Hillary.
Bernie will beat Hillary. Trump will never be the nominee. Bush will be the nominee. Like, how the tables have turned, I guess. Honestly. Like, it was honest. It was crazy. Yeah.
But enough about our failures as fortune tellers. On to the current state, I suppose.
Yes.
In 6 days, it's all going to be over. And it seemed like it was a deadlock for Hillary a couple of days ago, but due to recent allegations from the FBI as they're reopening their investigation, it seems like that's putting that future female president in jeopardy.
Yeah, that has some dangerous consequences, because if the Washington Post, I believe, that released the Trump tapes, released them 2 weeks, even 3 weeks before the election, I would have called it hands down Hillary wins by a decisive margin. But they made the mistake of releasing it a full month and a little bit before the election, which gives time for Trump to recover. And with this coming out, I'm feeling fairly confident that he can pull it off. He can pull it off.
I feel like so. Here's what I'll say.
Underdog.
One of my number one sources that I really rely on is Real Clear Politics.
Sure.
And with Real Clear Politics, if you look at their charts, they always have these things real. They'll have both of their poll numbers simultaneously.
Right. Yep.
So when Hillary rises or Trump falls, so it'll go like this kind of, and when Trump's rising, Hillary's falling, like that.
Boom.
So you always see these kind of dips at several big moments, like with the controversy with the Gold Star family. You see this massive dip, and it comes back together. Then you look at the Trump tapes. Yeah. You see another one, and he's coming back together, and he's really started to pick up momentum these past couple of days.
Some big exponential growth for him going on the upside.
Oh yeah,
not even joking.
But
he's doing well.
If we want to use math terms, I don't think that the exponential growth we're seeing is going to intersect with the election date in time.
I think in some polls, and not necessarily Real Clear Politics average, but some polls he already has overtaken her. Like I said, he gained 12 points on her in the ABC poll from being minus 11 a week or two ago as a result of Trump tapes. Now he's beating her by 1, which is within the margin of error, but is still, whatever you want to call it, it's quite the comeback. Yeah, a huge comeback.
I think this is the thing, though, because Hillary's number one scandal is these emails, and we thought she had put it behind her, and we thought we had issues. But now it's seen to the American public. We're seeing like, no, she is facing these issues again. They're coming back. She clearly can't be kind of trusted on these things because she's under FBI investigation.
Right.
And she could be president and get indicted, which is really scary to think about. And I'm not saying Trump's a great candidate who's going to fix this all. I'm just saying that is not a good situation. Just because Trump might be not as nice doesn't make that good.
You know what was interesting is because I was doing some research. And I was just looking at the state of the election and everything. And one of the polls back in 1980 had Ronald Reagan losing by 8 points.
In 1980?
In 1980.
And what was before the first debate?
A week before the election.
Oh, okay. Well, because
so
I'm trying to remember, because I haven't read Killing Reagan in a while. Actually, do we have Killing Reagan here?
We actually might.
We have Killing Patton. It's upstairs. We can... Killing Patton. We can kind of read between the lines. It's all the same. It's all part of the same conspiracy. Gonna get you.
Yeah. Wherever that happened,
Yeah,
Bill O'Reilly.
This isn't a comedy show. I'm sorry. We gotta work on it. Okay, moving on to more things with the election. So, also, Evan McMullin, guy who I really like, and I feel is a conservative alternative. Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to argue with him saying he's a conservative alternative. He's certainly the more conservative candidate, the candidate that embraces conservative ideals. But the one problem I have with him, and especially in Utah, because he also apparently has a presence in Idaho, but that's not significant.
Yeah, no.
The only problem I have with him is that he is pretty much, I wouldn't care if he was doing well in New Mexico, which is a blue state. He's doing well in a hardline, but stronghold conservative state, and he could be an election spoiler. That's my biggest pet peeve.
So that's the one thing, though, because when you look at the polls, ever since he came onto the scene, Hillary was actually, right before he was added to, again, I'll use 538. Before he was added to the 530 polls, Hillary had a 24% of the popular vote, and I think had up to a 33% chance of winning, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
With him coming in, she has dropped down to a 5%.
I think it's because
chance
a
of winning.
lot of the McMullen voters...
19% of the popular vote. She went from like 33 to 19.
A lot of the McMullen voters were probably Romney voters in 2012.
I think a lot of the people were people who were like, if there's only two options, I morally can't vote for Trump, so I have to vote for Clinton.
Right.
And now you have this new alternative.
And this guy comes in, they're like, oh, let's flood to this guy. And listen, I mean, if he was from this guy, Evan McMullen,
yeah.
The one problem I have with him is because he can actually win Utah. Because Gary Johnson, we can talk about Gary Johnson all day, but you'd think he's the third most popular candidate. This guy has the third biggest chance of winning the electoral vote for
because that's the thing.
At all.
And we mentioned this last time, because if there is a tie in the electoral college,
there won't be if he wins Utah.
Well,
you can't use that argument.
Because if he wins Utah, that makes it more likely. For example, if Johnson won New Mexico,
but it makes Trump less likely to win the election.
It does.
And it makes it less likely to have a tie either, which is what he's going for in the first place.
It does, but if Johnson won New Mexico, that's not possible because of the odd number of New Mexico votes versus even number 6 versus 5.
Right.
But also, Johnson still wouldn't go to the House of Representatives because it's the top 3 electoral vote winners. So even if a huge amount of the public voted for Johnson, unless he wins more electoral votes than McMullen theoretically could, he would not get to go. But McMullen still isn't polling that greatly. He's not. We'll have our fact checkers check out the definition of that, or if it's a real word. But he's only at a 24% chance of winning on 538. I'm sorry for calling them so much, but I think their accumulation of other polls is very useful.
538 is very accurate. I'd say it's the most accurate election prediction.
And in other polls from within Utah, he's been beating him in some cases. Although I don't know how biased those Utah sources may be.
If it's like Salt Lake City Times or whatever the newspaper's called.
There's Salt Lake Tribune.
I think they do polls for polling the election.
Yeah, Salt Lake Tribune does.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have one. Local polls are probably more skewed to the local candidate, I would assume.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that we're seeing, and also when you look in a place like Salt Lake City where you have such a, I think Salt Lake might only be 50-50 Mormon, non-Mormon, but McMullen being a Mormon, in Mormon areas, like if you take a poll in like, you might not get this, but if you take a poll in like a place like Provo or Orem,
more conservative,
you are really going to see some probably heavy support for McMullen.
Oh, I think so.
Whereas if you take it in if you take it in Park City, you're going to really see some differences there.
I mean, it's funny because I'd say the popular vote only has Trump winning like 35%, right? Like 40%. Maybe.
No. I think.
How much popular vote does they have Trump winning on 538?
So let's use 538.
Right.
So I mean, we gotta like cite these guys' reason so much. He is currently, I think, at 45 to 48 for Hillary.
Which is crazy because
Hillary was at 51 last week. It was crazy.
Because in 2012, Romney probably got 80. I think he got 80% of Utah.
Of Utah, he
very popular. So I think
but Trump's still getting 70%, or Trump's getting 33% of the popular vote.
Right, and McMullen is getting huge traction, which is crazy. I've never seen.
Because McMullen is shot up.
Like one of the most. He presents bigger change than Gary Johnson does.
I think to the election, but I think one of the things though is that we are starting to see, because he had this big moment and then he kind of dipped down. He's slowly working his way back up. I think the number one thing. No, not. I unfortunately I don't think it's likely. I hope he wins Utah. Kinda.
I hope not.
But
that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help Trump at all.
Okay.
I mean,
because he could.
But it would be interesting to see him because it's kind of sort of like a Ross Perot sort of.
It would be the first time a third-party candidate has won since George Wallace, I believe.
For an electoral.
Has won an electoral vote.
Yeah.
Well, there might have been an unfaithful elector in an election since then, but it would be the first time third parties won a state. Mm-hmm. But with the way in which it's going, I think the number one thing that helps his campaign is just people knowing that there's a third option.
Yeah.
Just simply he's not Trump and he's not Hillary.
Yeah, he's a
not
viable
Bernie.
alternative. Yeah, I agree, 100%. 100%.
Okay. So let's try to wrap up our coverage in the 2016 election here. So you think Trump has a solid chance of winning on Tuesday?
I'd say it's 50-50 right now. As of today, 6 days before the election, I think he has a heads or tails chance of winning, practically.
I think it's getting close. I'm not sure, though, if he's going to really be able to pull it off in time.
I think 6 days can make or break.
I hope so, because I do feel that the media, they are going to find any issue to focus on other than Hillary.
Yeah.
They're going to pivot to whatever the heck they can. So I think we're really going to kind of see biases from both sides. I think we're really going to see some conservative biases come out here towards this, because these are people who are like, Comey is a complete failure, disgrace as an FBI chief, and now he's reopened it. Praise be, he's the greatest FBI chief this country's ever had.
Which is funny. It's just funny how quickly they can change their views of him and become, so against to so positive is crazy.
And I mean, we have seen the same thing with liberals, where they're like, yeah, see, this is an exact example of what a public servant should be.
Yeah, flip-flopping's not rare at all. It happens all the time. Oh, no. Especially with political candidates. It happens. John Kerry, famous Waffle House flip-flopper. So.
Well, yeah, but and look at Romney if you have to go for abortion flip-flop.
Yeah, well, I mean, same with Donald Trump. Everyone flip-flops.
Yeah. Well,
every political candidate is election.
Trump for flip-flopping more than anybody else previously.
I mean, the only thing I can give credit for Bernie Sanders is back when he was in the primaries is because he was pretty consistent with his principles.
Yeah, I know. Like, I strongly disagree with virtually every single thing Bernie has said.
Yeah.
Oh, at least 90%.
Yeah.
And I think he's been a complete hypocrite for buying a house using $500,000.
Using my $27 average donation.
Yeah. But I will give it to him. He has shown consistency.
Yes,
and I think
that's big.
I obviously understand that people change their opinions over time.
Right.
But in most of the cases with people like Hillary and with Donald, you're seeing the situations of...
It's just to appeal to the constituencies.
Like, look at the pipeline. Like, I never had an opinion on the pipeline until my focus group came in and told me that I should be against the pipeline.
You always have an opinion on something, you just don't want to publicly share it. Because in the case of Hillary Clinton, I agree.
Yeah, because every one of her opinions, I feel, has been carefully gone through 50 different groups. It's whatever you think will give me the
focus groups. 100%. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's, like, obviously focus groups have a purpose, but that's not how you should be running an election. It just shows inhumanity and a desire to take the office no matter what.
Exactly. Boom.
All right.
Let's transition.
Now let's pivot on to another happy subject, battle against ISIS.
Yes, which has been,
ongoing since 2014.
The war, yes, has been going on since 2014, yes.
And as of late October, they are now attacking Mosul, the final major ISIS stronghold in Iraq.
Yes, it's not I don't believe it was the capital of ISIS. I think that was Raqqa.
No, it's not. But still, Mosul has
the biggest city they own.
It's the second biggest city in Iraq.
Biggest city ISIS, I think, completely controls.
I believe, and it's the immensity of this. I think is being a little bit overstated, because if we do see ISIS get pushed out of Iraq, that is a major blow for them. And again, I'm not saying this is a huge victory for the Obama administration, because I feel that their foreign policy failures is the fact that there has to be a Battle of Mosul. Mm-hmm. But I think we might not have time for that.
Bush doctrine, though.
You can also say if we weren't in Iraq in the first place, it wouldn't happen. But you would have also had thousands of Kurds being massacred by Saddam. Huh? So
yeah, I agree.
We can have our
terrorists get killed by Saddam too.
I know, but you're also having innocent people. But I mean, is the U.S. killing innocent people there? We are also killing terrorists.
We are killing terrorists as well.
So I think
that's debatable.
Yeah, we'll have this debate. Hopefully
with Chairman Mao.
Yes,
we
will get Chairman Mao and discuss the socioeconomic and foreign policy implications of the invasion of Iraq.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. But so I think that this will be a major thing, because there are currently around 5,000 fighters in the city.
Right, yeah, it's a large force.
And unfortunately their advance has been hampered by suicide bombers, because...
And human shields, like, these guys are complete
they are
monsters
pigs.
With what they do, yeah.
And we've seen, I believe that one of the higher-ups in the Kurdistani army has said that you guys, to the terrorists and ISIS, you can either surrender or you can die, but unfortunately with these radical Islamic terrorists,
they don't surrender.
Die is the much more preferable option.
Yeah, these guys want to go out like martyrs.
Yeah, I think we're...
How just diabolical what they're willing to do to protect their ideology, not even the citizens of the city, just to protect themselves.
Because they haven't been protecting these citizens. They've been enforcing their version of Sharia law on these people for
100%.
years.
100%.
And I think that this is terrible, and I really do hope that we're able to do it. We've already had one U.S. casualty, at least that's been publicly announced.
I believe so, yeah. I've heard of that.
But ideally, though, this does mean if they can be pushed out, there's not going to need to be a greater troop presence in Iraq, which I do feel in some cases might need to be justified, but nothing on the scale that we saw in like 2006 or something like that.
No surge at all.
No, hopefully. Because I think that immensely just causes a huge unpopular uprising in the U.S. and it kind of takes... And right now we are at least somewhat more focused on domestic issues, and I think we definitely should be. But I think we also do need to really be focused on these foreign issues, but...
We need to find a balance between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sure. I'm not entirely sure I'm going with that tangent. But I think this is very important. We'd like to keep following this in addition to the battle, albeit much less bloody, hopefully. That the 26th election has become.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting one.
Just the election or Mosul?
The election. No, Mosul's, you know, it's
Mosul,
going to be bad.
It's
already going to be.
And I think, though, because one of the things I'm wondering is, do you think there's going to be another, what would this be, the third Iraqi civil war, if Kurdistan now wants independence?
Honestly, possibly, but I think you're dealing with a lot more of a tolerant and accepting Iraqi government contrast to when Saddam Hussein was in power. I think that was a major, because the leader in the government was a lot more strict and a lot more less accepting to hearing what people have to say. And with America on their side, I think it's definitely a possibility. It might not be a peaceful independence movement, but it surely would not be... It would be like an Arab Spring sort of thing.
Because they do have a great deal of autonomy.
Right. No, they do, yeah.
So I don't know if they'll be happy with autonomy or if they're going to be...
They want nation states.
We have our military mobilized, all we need to do is just turn our guns on the Iraqi army. Which I hope doesn't happen once the commonality dissipates.
No, because that would just bring in a whole new problem.
And because then who does the U.S... Because we've been working with the Kurds, but we've also been working with the Iraqis. This is...
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we need to keep a sustained troop presence there, and we already do when we say we don't. We have 4,000 personnel at our embassy, so that's roughly the same, just a couple hundred less than our prolonged, indefinite troop number in Afghanistan. Right. So I think we are going to be there for a while, but I think unfortunately, whether or not you agree that we were in Iraq because we were in Iraq, we kind of need to be.
True. Yeah. Good points.
So our foreign policy can be determined a little bit more at a later date. So, do you want to wrap it up?
I mean, so we have 6 days before the election.
Yes.
Once those 6 days expire and we're on the day of the election, we have some plans, perhaps, to be thrown in the works about something to happen on election day in terms of our podcast. We might, if we can get it to work, we could make it happen.
Possibly a
live sort of thing, live stream, maybe.
If we could. We'd
maybe.
Like to check it out.
On election night. We could make it happen.
We'd like to investigate this possibility.
With probably not, but maybe people. You know.
We might try to, excuse me.
If it happens, it happens.
That would be very fun.
But yeah.
But we do intend to give you coverage up to and post-election.
Yeah. No, we're not. No, this is not a final finale or anything.
No, we're in
this. We're in this.
We're still going. We have future topics we want to discuss. Continuing the battle against ISIS and more fleshing our foreign policy. So... The reason I'm saying this is because if anybody's watching this in like 2048 and you're trying to figure out my political opinions, I didn't support Trump entirely. I like McMullen, and foreign policy is whatever my focus group says is best. So...
That guy.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
Remember, our opinions currently do not necessarily reflect ours in 20 years.
Or ever.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay, but we do intend to cover potentially the conservative leadership contest election.
Yeah, sure.
I guess it's a contest in Canada.
Yeah,
ever since our dear boy Stephen Harper, who we would love to have a guest on the show. I know you're in between jobs right now.
Yeah,
this could help. This could be a resume builder.
We could put a chair right here.
Yeah, you know.
Or
this
right
is a
here. I would sit over here.
Yeah,
we would want to have.
We'd have Mr. Harper right here.
It'd be a tight fit. We could have him come out of here.
Yes, you could. Hello. I think we can get Steve to do that.
Yeah, if he wants to.
Yeah, so again, I mean, we're a very renowned podcast. I think we could even promote a co-host if you want.
Just don't watch the Chairman Mao episodes. We'll just skip those.
Yeah, we'll ignore them.
All right.
All right.
Leave it on that note.
All right, we'll end it on a somewhat happier note.
All right. I am Jack Horvath.
I'm Clark Warburger.
And we'll see you next time.
Adios. Auf Wiedersehen? I don't know. Something.
German?
Yeah.
Cultural.
Au revoir. Adios. Goodbye.
Aloha.
Ooh, hello and goodbye. We're welcoming you to a new...
Is bonjour goodbye in French and hello at the same time? I think it was.
It was? No, I'm pretty sure it's just hello.
How do you say bye? Bon voyage?
I'm not actually sure, because I think bon voyage specifically refers to ocean voyages.
How do you say bye in Russian?
Actually, I don't know. Because Russian... I only know... Because yes is da, no is niet.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
That's fine.
Nah.
Bye in Chinese? Arigato. No, that's thank you in Chinese.
No.
Or that's thank you in
I know
Japanese.
ni hao
Sorry.
and konnichiwa would be Chinese and Japanese, respectively. Don't know goodbye.
No, I don't know goodbye either. Why don't they teach you hello and goodbye, not just hello?
Well, because...
How do you say bye in German? Oh, you just said it.
Yeah, that's how we said it.
Yeah. Guten Tag. Guten Tag's how are you?
That's good day.
Good day. And
I
Guten
think
Morgen's
hello
good
is
morning.
just hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no.
The more you learn.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know.